What's going on, everybody? Today is Tuesday, the 31st of March. Sorry, took me a second. I am back with my co-host, Molly.
Hello.
We were just having a heated debate before you joined us.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm kidding. We weren't. We were just talking about the craziness on both sides of all of this stuff. And it is on both sides, so that's all we're going to say about that.
Same, yeah.
So listen, here's what's about to happen. We have been toying with this. Those of you that have been watching this page when it was the Bearded Realtor and now that it is Bearded REI, I've asked Facebook to change the name 4 times, and apparently Bearded Branding and Marketing doesn't follow the guidelines. I don't know how, but either way, it led us to the point of what are we going to call this thing? Because we really want to do some podcasting at a more specific level, kind of with better specific content, with better educational, just something that has a real purpose, a theme, something, when I listen to a podcast, I don't want to hear just a random smattering of information. I want it to be, typically I'm going and looking for something specific.
Organized.
That's right. And so we have come up with the organization mechanism that we're going to use for this. And so I want to show you something that we're about to play for you, and we will tell you what it's called after this video. But I want to show you this video, see what you think. Welcome to the beautiful city of Athens, the gateway to the Tennessee Valley, a city rooted in deep community relationships and built on a rich tradition of small local business and the very best of the human spirit. As Athens embraces the future, the signs of progress are in full bloom. Join us as we discover the bright spots in this charming southern city that we call home. This is Hometown Heartbeat, Athens. Okay, so that is where we're headed with this thing. Sorry, I was watching it on the computer here, and it's delayed by 30 seconds, so it took me a second. So where we want to go with this is what we're going to call Hometown Heartbeat, and it's a concept that we fully vetted and kind of developed a few months ago. And as you know, that I took a break over creating content for about a year, probably 6, 8, 12 months. And when we came back, we didn't really know what to call it. We knew that I could talk about just about anything and make people think I knew what I was talking about, but we wanted to get into something that was truly valuable, truly interesting, truly organized, I think is the right word to say. And so we are going to bring to you a segment called Hometown Heartbeat. And what I love about this is the hometown is home. Our hometown is so Americana, it's ridiculous. Like the concept of the hometown, small town, the courthouse square, like we have that here in Athens. But it's not just us. It's not just Athens. It's not just a city. It's a concept. The concept of being in a place where everyone knows your name, where you know the barber, you know the what. That's the environment we're trying to create through these videos. And what we've been talking about over the past week with this coronavirus and all this craziness and stuff, it's human interest is what it is. And so, as this thing grows and changes, we will look at different things, different ways, different concepts, going to places, traveling, whatever, to take on some hometown stories from your hometown. But the goal is to create our own hometown and create something that we have our own community of like-minded in that we love community, people that just want to hear about, talk about, ask questions about things that are interesting to them in creating that community. And so it may not be as organized as it is going to grow in its organization and in the concept and in all those things. But right out of the gate, we're going to jump in this Thursday with one of our hometown lenders here. He's a mortgage lender. Brandon Hargrove is going to join us next week. I've got a baseball coach from a local high school scheduled to join us, and we're just going to talk through what are the effects of what's going on and how they affect each industry, each person, each individual, each family, even. And I would implore you to do this. Like if this has impacted you, and you want to be part of our hometown, our our community, bring that to us. See what let's see what we can do. Odds are we can help. We can mobilize someone who can help. We can help you find help. And so that's our heart in all this. Our heart is to just create a community through content that you tune in and it's not going to be every day long term. It's every day right now because you're bored of snot sitting at home watching me talk. So you got to be bored. But as we grow this thing, it'll spread its wings. It'll kind of change and morph. And Molly's going to take on some content creation that she's really passionate about. But my passion is people, all kinds, colors, types, doesn't matter. I love people. And so at the end of the day, that's where we're headed with this thing. And I just wanted to kind of show you guys what it looks like moving forward. We're super excited about it. So technically tomorrow will be, I guess, Hometown Heartbeat episode 1. Cool. So maybe between now and then I'll figure out what we're going to talk about. But for today, where we wanted to land is we'll get to the coronavirus news at the end. Molly came in and asked me a couple questions today about real estate investing. She's reading a book. Terrifying, I know. But she's reading a book about real estate investing, and she goes, "Can I ask you questions about real estate on the live stream?" And I was like, yeah, that's what we've done for a year and a half. It'd be great. Well, and so here she goes. It's gonna get feisty in here.
Oh gosh. Well, hopefully not. But I come from a background where I have no experience, flipping houses or remodeling until I started working with you. So
folks, let me reiterate what you just said. She has no experience.
So dummy questions coming right up. But yeah, so when I drive by houses that are like for sale by owner or foreclosures or on auction, like my ears perk up and I'm like, ooh, maybe that could be an investment of my own. And then part of me is always like, well, what am I actually getting into? Because the roof could be leaking, the flooring, the foundation wouldn't maybe need, and I drive all the way out near Scottsboro and they have signs up talking about people's foundations being unstable because of what are they doing over there?
Everything.
What are they doing? They're mining.
Yeah, yes. Mining.
And so people's foundations. So anyways.
Yeah, so there's a whole host of things.
I have so many questions of that. I've like, ooh, that's probably a bad idea. So when you are going into a property as a remodeler, how do you decide like if it's worth it?
So there's two questions that you and I've talked about today. And so I just want to make sure I understand where you want me to go with this. Are we talking about owner occupancy or are we talking about straight up real estate investing? Like I want to take $100,000 or I want to borrow $100,000 and I want to take it, I want to invest it in the real estate market and I want to return it. Or are you saying my husband and I bought our first house, we bought it right, there was some upgrades that needed to be made. Now we're trying to evaluate what's worth doing, what's not worth doing, like which direction you want to go, because that's kind of important.
Well, I guess more so to our audience, they're probably more curious if it was a second home investment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so second home.
On that
All right,
first.
let's focus on that. I would disagree with you.
Okay.
I would say that most of our audience right now is bored out of their mind saying, man, I could really renovate our house a little bit. So we're gonna circle back and touch on that. See, I tried to like kind of, it didn't work.
He tried
but
to
it's
guide
okay.
me and I just
it's okay.
completely...
I didn't. The teleprompter quit working. I'm just kidding. We don't have one. So all right. So you want to flip your first house. Let's just use that, right? Well, the answer is probably call me or call someone like me, because the reality is you'll lose your shirt. Everyone says, well, you make your money when you buy your house.
Right.
Nope. You make your money when you sell your house, quite literally. And so at the end of the day, you have to buy right, absolutely. But how do I walk in? I can't sit here and tell you what I walk in and look at, because there's so many things. We've been doing it for so long. We've done so many of them that it's like automatic for me. But I can tell you this. When I walk into a house, there are a couple things that I absolutely will turn me away unless it's just a rock bottom price. So let's talk about like the top 3 things that you would look at and say, I'm good. Air conditioner, roof, termites, or air conditioner, roof, wood rot, that kind of a thing, right? So I'm going to go look at the age of the air conditioner unit. Your unit has a year on it, okay? I'm going to look at your roof, and I'm going to try to get into your crawl space, which more than likely I can, and I'm going to look for wood rot. And so those 3 things are very, very expensive right out of the gate that would make me have to adjust my price when I buy. So if I know that I've got a solid AC, a solid roof, and a solid foundation, now we're talking cosmetics. Right, that changes the level of the rehab and the price per square foot. I need to budget to make my return, because it's gambling. What we do is gambling with a whole lot of information. Like we take a tremendous amount of knowledge and hard paid for and learned knowledge, and then we apply that.
Could one of those things be okay? Like if just the
roof
or just
all
the
3
HVAC?
can be okay, because what we're determining is acquisition price. How much can we pay for this house and still return? But right out of the gate, those 3 things are going to cause me. They're going to be a hassle, and so that's where I start. And I smell for mold, that type of thing. I mean, you can tell a lot of things. Guys, if you have any questions about what we're talking about, throw them up here. Let us address them while we're talking. But no, so that would be kind of where I would start. But
right. When we went to buy our home, they told us that our HVAC was brand new, yada yada. Then within our first 6 months, we had to fix that thing up 3 different times, and then we found out later that it wasn't new like they said it was, and it was a coil. So we basically never turn it on because every time we use it, something happens to it. How do you know as a buyer that people are being honest with you?
So Alabama's a buyer beware state. So the reality is what they represent as a real estate agent. I had to represent what I knew to be a fact, okay? Now, does it happen every time? No. Are there dishonest people in the business? Absolutely. Will they try to fool you to get more money for – yeah, it happens. It's yes, welcome to life. But the reality is okay. You should have a home inspector. Your home inspector should have – I mean, our home inspector, Nathan Goldsmith, this is the best in the business. He was a real estate broker. He was a home builder, and now he's a home inspector. He knows every side of the deal.
Right.
So when he walks in, he's going to stress test, more or less, every component of the house that needs to be working, or what we would call a health and safety component, and make sure they're working. It should have. If they told you it was a brand new unit, you should be able to walk out there and look at the year on it, and it would have been like, probably not. And that would have been step number one. But my question to you would be, where was your real estate agent in that? And that's where I want to follow up and circle back to this. You asked me how do I know what to look for when I buy? Let me tell you, you hire somebody, even if you have to pay them something to consult with you, who knows what they're doing. You might not have to pay them 3%. You won't have to pay me a dime. Just call me. Let me help you. Let me show you how to do this. I'd love to. But there's someone who should walk you along that path. Your real estate agent should have been there. And when they said brand new air conditioner, your real estate agent should have been out there and looked and at least tried to verify the claim.
Right.
Now, as realtors, as professional real estate agents, we're going to assume what we hear is true because we're supposed to tell the truth. So are politicians. And so that's all I have to say.
But you should... I don't know. Going forward, I probably would go a roundabout way of hiring my own inspector.
But that's what you do, though.
But
that's what the home inspector
right.
like. So let's say I'm selling a house, you're buying a house. You hire a home inspector. I don't hire the home inspector. You do.
So you should probably have red flags if the seller is hiring.
That's illegal.
Okay.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen.
I don't even recall if that's how it went, but
that's a big no-no.
Now I'm suspicious of how.
Well, you're suspicious of everything, so that doesn't surprise me at all. Okay, question number 2. What renovations are worth doing if you're a owner-occupant, homeowner, and like my wife and I are having this conversation because it's like we want to sell our house. The value of our house has grown dramatically, and so we want to sell our house. What kind of renovations are we going to make that are going to return for us the best amount of money? And so right now, I see more people complaining online about if they're complaining about something, they're complaining about Lowe's in Athens being full in the parking lot. Folks, that's because construction's been deemed essential, and we're trying to keep the infrastructure going. But no, now's not the time to go to Lowe's and buy your home improvement project stuff. I get that. But it's not the time. Be responsible. Stay home, right? That's what we're trying to, that's what the government is saying. That's what Kay Ivey, president, everybody's saying it. So don't be irresponsible. She calls me on that every day, by the way. So what is worthwhile? What is worth doing? I always tell people floor, cabinet, counters. Floor, cabinet, counters. Kitchen, bathroom. Floor, cabinet, counters, kitchen, bathroom. That's what matters. The kitchen, the bathroom, that's what sells houses. Floor, cabinet, counters. Are your floor 12 by 12 square, earth-toned ceramic tile with a dark grout? Well, that's probably a mid-90s, late 90s, early 2000s home, and it looks that way, right? Do you have hardwoods? Can they be refinished? Like, there are things that not to do, like, painting is always a good thing because it's cheap. You throw a new paint on, you get all the holes out of the way, you get all the marks, you get all that stuff. It doesn't cost you much. You can do it yourself. That's great. Putting in new flooring is easy if it's a DIY project. If I can do it, anyone can. Countertops, we have granite starting at like $27 a foot, so call us. We'll be happy to help you with that. They are still working. They're absolutely installing new granite. Cabinets, you want new cabinets? Well, conveniently enough, give us a call. We do that too. But the reality is floors, cabinets, counters. Bathroom, kitchen.
The book's been hitting on like you're
The
really
look.
selling a feeling. You want people to feel a certain way when they own the house, and I feel like flooring and cabinetry and countertops go a long way in creating that feeling.
Yeah.
I guess. What do you think?
So how do you? I mean, how do you when you walk into a house? I always when I do flips, I always think about my wife. I always think about like what would she see when she walks through the door? Like what would catch her eye? Because she's not detail oriented in that type of stuff. Like she gets a vibe very quickly, and it's yes or no, like in or out.
Right.
And so right now, the things that are working are open floor plans, are pass through living dining spaces. Right. Keeping rooms are really big right now. Being in the dining, having a dining space in the kitchen that's also like couches, TVs. Like it's kind of it's an old Mississippi thing, but it's coming back huge now as the farmhouse movement continues to take over and Joanna Gaines continues to monopolize the market, which is genius. But no, farmhouse, open concept, feeling. Pick a color. Pick a. Let me. This is the most important point I'll make all day. If you're renovating your house, and you're renovating it to sell, to make an impact, to make an investment return on your money. You've said, I bought my house 3 years ago. I want to. Appreciation has happened, and I can now make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on my house. Okay, listen to me. It doesn't matter what you like. One more time. It doesn't matter what you like. What matters is what's going to sell. That's all that matters is what's going to sell. And so people like me, companies like ours, that's what we do. We literally go in, buy, renovate, fix, sell houses just for the sake of making money and selling them. So what does that look like for us? Well, it looks like we're going to be in tune with the what's important, the trends, the styles, all that stuff. Don't do what you like if your goal is to sell it. Now, if you're saying, okay, I've lived here for 2 or 3 years, I'm probably going to be here for 3 to 5 more, but I'd like to go ahead and start renovating the house, great. What you like needs to be trendy and neutral-ish. You can always repaint a wall, okay? But if you put down bright pink tile in the bathroom, it can't come up very cheaply, right? And so as you renovate, you start to think through what part of this is me, what part of this is marketable,
right? And
so that's the balance that you always walk is between like, okay, this is on trend, this is cool, people like this, I'm selling it tomorrow, I don't care, or I might be here 3 or 4 more years, so I need to do both. I needed to be trendy, and look, if you just don't have taste and you're not a trendy person, you're out of luck. So I'm kidding, totally kidding.
Is there any merit to like creating a part of your house that stands out? So like when we were looking for houses, my husband and I, the fact that my farmhouse 1 story had a vaulted ceiling changed the game for me. For me,
right? So but that's like the key.
The fact that other houses don't have vaulted ceilings.
So the key,
you feel like that's
no, and because look, you can't go in and create what's not there. I coached baseball forever, and you always take the athletic move, the swing, the whatever it is. You take what your athlete has in front of you, and you try to make that the best it can be. Right? You can't change it all. You can't make it different. It just is what it is.
It would be too expensive to change.
Correct. Like and so the reality is, you take what your house presents as every house has a feature. Something like what you're talking about. You got to have a feature, but that's very easily accomplished nowadays with shiplap and the accent tile you can get at Lowe's for $1.02 a foot. We use a lot of those. I wish I would have queued up the video before we got over here, but there's a video that we'll show you. It's on YouTube. It's Wellington. It's a house flip we did, and you can see a ton of the accent tiles and the bright colors and the different things like that we tied in, and we created features everywhere.
Right.
But it wasn't over the top.
It's like memorable.
Yeah, and so you come in, there's a splash here, splash there, splash here. It's texture. It's texture is probably the most important and most utilized design feature. Texture. When you walk in our lobby out here, what did you notice? There's no sheetrock on the wall that you walk into. It's wood and tile, and it's texture. It doesn't change a ton. It doesn't. It's earth tone. It doesn't make a huge impact. It's not like it's bright pink or blue or yellow, but there's a huge ceramic tile accent with a shiplap wall surrounding it, cut on angles, and it's just it does. I mean, the cost is slightly higher than that of a sheetrock and finish and paint and all that, but the impact is ginormous. And so it's just utilizing flat surfaces, giving them texture, and creating your memorable features without spending a ton of money and having to tear down walls and put beams in and have it engineered and have the city approve it and all that stuff.
Okay, I have a dummy question.
Dummy question
When
time.
when
Connor, we need a dummy question graphic that she can just preface this. Dummy question coming, and then it just pops up. Dummy question.
when you talk about texture, the first thing I thought of was like popcorn ceiling.
I
So when,
knew it.
When you say texture, what are you getting at? What like when you say about adding texture to a room?
Okay, sheetrock is smooth.
Okay.
Okay, popcorn ceiling is textured.
Right.
Right.
So
what you think is not that dumb? It's only a moderately dumb question.
But I see no popcorn ceiling in our front entryway.
But do you see texture? Wood has grain.
Okay.
Grain is texture. Tile has grout. Grout creates texture.
Okay.
Right? Smooth has no texture. Well, smooth is a texture. Right? So smooth is a texture. So variation in texture would be, I guess, from design perspective, what we would call texture would be like a touchable difference in creating a different
like the
tactile.
splash.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're creating a different experience with Clint Newton joined. Clint, you need to come be on the show, buddy. How about tomorrow, 3:00? See you here. But no, it's something that changes. It changes the game for everybody because you walk in, you can see it, feel it, touch it, whatever. It's
like
different.
the first thing that your eyes
That's
go
right.
to.
That's right. No, that's exactly right. Okay. So your last question. You had one more question?
Okay, so
This is terrifying.
because you're kind of like the
guru?
lord over all the contractors that kind of work under us. If I was to not go with
I'm sorry.
you,
I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable with the way you said that.
how do you decide what contractors to go with? Like, how do you know who to trust to do your job well?
You don't. You get burnt time and time again, and you develop relationships with those that you can trust. And
it's just who you know.
the reality is, right now, contractors, if they're not working, they're probably not very good at what they're doing because right now it's so busy, so crazy, so booming. Even with the coronavirus outbreak, it's booming. So the reality is, hopefully they're busy, and ours stay busy. They work for us, and so it's one of those things where it takes a lot of time. You've seen how long have you worked here? 3 weeks. A month.
Yeah.
So it changes on a daily basis, literally. Like contractors change on a daily basis.
Okay.
I mean, they do because the reality is, when you find a good one, you do everything you can to keep them. And so there's two ways of doing business, right? You have people like us that have a couple of in-house guys that have some skills, and then you sub out to a lot of specific contractors. Or then there's companies that have all internal staff that they keep on payroll and then they have them on a weekly basis. We do a combination approach, right? So we've got some guys in house and we contract out some stuff. And when I say sub out, I mean like we're the contractor, we sub it to another contractor. So it'll be like a sub lease or a sub whatever. It just to like kind of think about it that way. And so the reality is you hire people, you take bids, you hire people, you work with people. They did a good job. You keep them, they don't. And it's like the Hunger Games, the last man standing wins.
It's
so
not like there's like a gallery. I guess some of them do, but it's not like you get to see a gallery
very
of their
rarely.
work. Yeah, it's not like you
Very
interview like 10 different contractors. You kind of take
that
a
would
chance.
be ideal.
I know.
We need to create
We need
that.
to create like a database.
Yeah, like a Tinder for contractors.
Like you
I was
know
kidding.
which one
joking. Totally joking.
No,
Not
people
Tinder.
wanted to
Maybe
know,
like
they could come ask us.
I don't know. I think Angie's list beat us to the punch.
Mm.
Okay. Coronavirus update quickly, and then we're gonna. So we'll argue for the next 3 minutes, and then we'll bounce.
Hold my breath.
People are gonna thought we froze. People are gonna thought we froze for a minute. That was good.
No, I'm gonna try my best.
No, I mean, tell us about these tests you're so excited about.
Oh, I don't know too much about them. I just know that they were.
Isn't that something, folks?
No, I was trying to create.
If I don't know everything about it, I get busted. She gets.
All
just
I know is
throw
that
it
was like 45-minute results.
No, there is a company coming out with a test who they're waiting for approval, I believe. I don't think they're approved yet, but they're talking about a 45-minute turn time. I saw one article that said 10 to 15-minute turn time, which is amazing that journalism is so poor in this country that we can't get within 30 minutes of one another. But that's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, that would be unbelievable, right?
Okay.
Because that changes the game. Now that changes the game.
I have another thing I read. It
Hit
was a drug that was previously used for cancer and HIV patients to boost their immune system, and it's going through clinical trials right now. And they've only gave the drug to 10 people that were on ventilators, and 4 of the people so far have been able to come off the ventilators. 2 of them are already out of the ICU within the last week. but I know 6 of them they're still waiting to see what happens to those last 6 in terms of like how well they respond to that treatment. So I hesitate to say like that's good news. I don't know.
Look, here's the bottom line. I'm just going to break this down, make this real simple, okay? Everybody listen to me right now. Might be the most important thing you hear all day long. The virus is going to do what the virus is going to do. Mm-hmm. Our response to it will dictate what the economy does. We are only capable of changing one of the two. Now, we can influence and we can help and we can certainly hurt. And I'm not going to say that we have no culpability in this, because we do, and we ought to be responsible and we ought to be smart. But at the end of the day, until herd immunity kicks in, whether it's now or 6 months from now, the virus will flare up. It will happen again. Herd immunity has to happen, or else we'll never. It'll take us a year and a half. It'll take us a year and a half to get over this.
Out of our houses.
We wouldn't have anywhere to live.
I'm saying,
like it would be Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Like it would be Thunderdome, and that's no joke.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and I know it's a little dramatic, and I get that, but really, that's the direction this thing's heading. If it lasts out 3, 4, 5, 6 months, we are headed to Thunderdome, and that's
I haven't
just.
Seen that movie, so
well,
I can't
have you seen Mad Max? It's pretty close. So look, here's one. I bet this will fire you up. I know you haven't read about. No, you can't look at it. I'm gonna read it.
Is this the Sweden one?
Nope. Amazon fires New York worker who led strike
Oh,
over coronavirus, and you didn't get fired up about. If that doesn't fire you up, your wood's wet. You can't start a fire with wet wood. I don't know that saying.
Okay.
If that doesn't fire you up, your wood must be wet.
Okay.
Because you can't start a fire with. Oh my gosh.
I understand.
My jokes get nothing. My jokes get nothing
we're
around
tracking.
Here. Meow. Go ahead. How does that make you feel?
What I read was that he was supposedly fired for violating the social distancing rules, because when they were striking, they were standing too close together. Was their, I guess, statement of why they fired him. He had been warned multiple times about social distancing, but
you know why? Because he led a strike.
But I know they did talk about the fact that someone did come up positive that worked there, and they were hoping to
in New York.
Okay, let me finish.
That's a shocker. Sorry, go ahead. You can continue now.
They were told, or were hoping, that the place would get disinfected over the weekend, and it did not. So when they came back, which I think was just yesterday, when they came back, they were upset, and I don't know if they were reacting, or I don't know the exact circumstances of how it went down. But yeah, he was fired.
Let's throw this out there, Connor. Type this up. Throw this on the screen, because of people that are just scrolling by. Will the college football season be canceled? The upcoming college football season, will it be canceled? Because let me tell you something. Hey, you want to see crazy? You want to see crazy? Go tell the Southeast they're not going to have their football season this year. I'm talking about insanity.
Nick Saban already said, right?
Man, Nick Saban will cure this thing himself.
No, but didn't he say
football
if y'all
Jesus?
Don't stay, okay.
Sorry.
Didn't he say, like, if y'all don't stay inside, then we won't be able to play football? Is that what he said? He said something to that effect.
I don't know. I don't watch propaganda.
He came out and was like, y'all better stay inside so we can play football in the fall.
Here it comes. Hit us with it. Boom.
What is he hitting us with?
Oh, with graphics. And I'm trying to get somebody to chime in here. We got a bunch of people watching and nobody's saying anything. So
they're too afraid. You scare
what
people.
Are they? I don't. Hush your mouth. If you're scared, you should be. Okay. No, I'm kidding. I'm a big teddy bear. You know that. I look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, should they cancel the season? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know. They don't pay me enough to know. I don't care enough, probably.
Well, they have to be practicing right now.
No, they haven't started spring season yet. They haven't started spring football. That's not true. That's inaccurate. Nope, that's not inaccurate. That's inaccurate. That's an inaccuracy. That's fake news. Hashtag fake news. Hashtag CNN.
I stayed in a dorm when I was at Clemson that overlooked the football field. I got really lucky because when the first 6 months.
Because you got to see Trevor Lawrence work out with a shirt off?
That was after my time. I had already graduated, but
because that would have been lucky.
But no, the first semester I lived there, they brought on too many students than they had housing for. So there was 400 to 600 of us that had to temporarily live in these utility closets that had piping that went all around the top, and there was no window, and it was a flood hazard. And so in December,
did you say a flood hazard?
Yeah, like the piping, if it had fallen, because it was kind of all rickety, and if it had fallen, then it would have flooded the whole place, and there'd be no windows or way to get out. But
So you die.
so I told the housing people,
Tell
I
'em.
said, we're gonna move out and get an apartment in for spring semester if y'all don't move us. So they moved us to these really nice dorms,
Athletic dorms.
that overlooked the stadium.
Yeah.
And so I can say that I did watch them play practice.
Well, I could
practice
testify
for
as
6
someone who
months.
played college sports, probably a little more effectively. That yes, they are doing something right now.
They're
There's the
practicing,
NCAA has regulations on you can have this many practices, you can have this many one-on-ones, small group workouts. I mean, they dictate every
But
minute
they
of
usually
every.
practice in the spring.
They do. The spring media day for the SEC was just canceled. New CDC recommendation. Oh, Connor's giving me this in real time. New CDC recommendation effectively ends any chance of spring practice for college football teams starting back up. So
Until at least
there
April 15th.
it is. Look, at the end of the day, guys, this is. I'm kind of at the point where it's like I don't even know what else to talk about. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go from here. No one knows enough to say what they're already saying. Everything coming out of anybody's mouth is at best a really good educated guess.
Right.
At worst, is just reckless insanity. And so, at the end of the day, I opt to go with Sweden. I lean more towards the Swedes and their approach to this. Now we'll see if their whole country gets wiped out by this crazy virus. Maybe they were wrong, but it looks like statistically they might have the corner market on smarts here. I'm just saying.
This is going to be a lot for me to say.
Oh no.
But
oh no.
Because I know this is something that a lot of people, I guess, on my side of the aisle have pointed to, like, oh, we should be like Sweden, we should be like Denmark.
Woo!
So this is like a big thing for me to say, but I don't know if I trust Sweden's government. They get so much percentage of these private industries and of their citizens'
Folks,
salaries.
you've seen growth right here
I'm
on the
just
show
saying,
today.
I'm skeptical of everybody.
No,
And so-
I know that very well.
So the fact that they're like, oh no, keep going to work, it'll be fine. They profit off of that. They profit off of that.
Hey, you got to talk to the microphone, not over it. When you get
I'm
really
talking
excited,
to you.
I know, but when you get really excited, you get up here. It doesn't do us any good.
I'm talking to you.
I know you are, and I'm listening. And what I'm going to tell you back is, you're a scientist. Look at the numbers. Don't operate on emotion. Don't operate on the way you feel.
No,
So let's go look at Sweden's, and that's what I would tell anybody. That's what I would tell anybody that that is having this conversation that we have on a daily basis. You, first of all, said we should be more like Sweden, more like Denmark, and now it's like, well, I don't trust them because coronavirus. And then the answer is, and the reality is, and I'm not judging or saying anything. Like I have things in my life that are the exact same way, where you're in, and then something is it doesn't add up all of a sudden out of nowhere, and you're like, wait a minute.
Right, who's profiting off of
That's
this?
right. And so at the end of the day, here's the reality. You're a scientist. Let's go look at the numbers. Let's go see what Sweden's caseload looks like. Let's go see what their mortality rate looks like. Let's go see and then we'll know. It's got nothing to do with their government. Now, the decision behind it may have something to do with their government,
Right.
but the results won't. And so at the end of the day, look, I don't know, guys.
Everything
We have
comes
gone
back to
past
money.
time today,
Yeah.
which is fine because it's been a great show, and we've enjoyed talking with you. As always, if you have any questions, comments, whatever, drop them in the line. Get us on YouTube. Get us on the podcast. Beyond the Beard, it will be turning to Hometown Heartbeat. So maybe today, Connor might change that this afternoon for us. But, guys, we love you. We will
Wash your
talk to you
hands.
soon. Wash your hands. Don't be nasty. And, hey, take this with you after the virus. I don't want your nasty hands all over me all the time, okay? Just take it with you when you leave. Talk to you guys later. We'll see you tomorrow.